Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of What They Don't Tell You. My name is Sylvie, and I wanted to welcome my lifetime long good friend, Monica. We became moms around the same time, so I wanted her to share her experience. She's way more holistic. I wanted an epidural. I knew I wanted anything that science could give me, I wanted. She is way more on the natural side, so I wanted her to share her story and how it turned out. So welcome, Monica.
Thank you, babe.
And how was your first pregnancy? How did it go?
So, my first pregnancy was with my son, Noah. I did the whole midwife, doula, whole thing. It was amazing. No doctors involved.
You had no doctor your whole pregnancy. So who was
No
checking
doctor.
on your baby the whole time?
So, I went to a birth center in North Miami. It was called Magnolia. I had a great experience there. It was all the midwives taking care of me. And then my doula was completely separate from that. I chose her, from feedback from other friends. She's also a midwife, but she was just my doula, which a doula gives you all the down low of, what childbirth will be like, how to breathe through everything and all of that. So my doula would meet me at my house and we would have birth classes.
Wow.
2 months before birth. They teach you, everything you need to know basically and how to
What
breathe.
did she teach you?
So she taught me how to breathe through the contractions and
To mentally basically prepare for the pain.
yeah.
You knew you didn't want an epidural baby.
yeah. I knew that I wanted to try my first birth naturally.
Why did you want all that pain?
My family kind of made me want to go that route. My grandmother was super natural. She had
She didn't have a choice.
5 kids. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm a
If
woman.
she could do it, you could do
yeah,
it.
Kind
Amen
of
to that.
thing like
Yeah,
that.
100%.
My mom had 4 kids. A few of them were natural, whatever. But I just wanted to go that natural route and see, for my first birth, how that would go for me.
What everyone's talking about. Is that
Yeah.
pain really painful?
It's painful, but I swear that you can just breathe through it.
But there are some women that pass out from the pain. There are some women that pop blood vessels in their face from pain.
So when the contractions come, I'm going to give you my little birth story also. So my son, Noah, he was born at 42 weeks.
So because you didn't have a doctor, your doula allowed you to go. Normally, doctors won't let you go 41 weeks and then they kind of top it off.
Right. I just knew I didn't want a C-section. And my experience, what I know from other people is that doctors just want to cut you open, take out the baby, and get it over with.
Okay.
So I was super afraid of that. And I was super chill my whole pregnancy. And then I'm like, all right, it's 40 weeks. Where is this baby? Why is he not coming? I kept calling my doula, my midwife. I'm like, guys, what do I do? They're like, just wait. It's in Hashem's hands. He is going to bring the baby. The baby's coming when he's ready. So I just, went swimming, had a Bloody Mary, would walk on the sand, do everything, have sex, all of it to
All
try to
the
get that
things they
baby
tell
out
you,
that they
yeah.
tell you to do. Eat spicy foods, just walk up and down the curb. I was like,
Nothing
this is
worked.
crazy. Nothing's working. And today is 41 weeks and 6 days. So I'm 42 weeks. I'm like, Mom, we're gonna just do this. My doula was like, Monica, you 42 weeks is high risk, so you can't give birth pretty much after that. It's gonna be in the doctor's hands because the midwives can't deliver after 42 weeks. It's a law.
Know that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So I knew I was at the finish line, and I was so calm and just waiting for that baby.
So originally, you wanted to give birth at home.
I was going to do a home birth.
Okay.
Yeah. With my doula and my midwife there. The midwife delivers the baby. The doula breathes through it with you and massages you, puts the music, sets the vibe, keeps it super calm and fun, So
As fun as it can be.
yeah, exactly. 2 weeks came by and my mom's like, all right, I guess we're going to go to the hospital. So Memorial Regional has a midwifery center kind of
I
thing
didn't know
on
that.
the labor and delivery floor, and you can deliver your baby there.
Amazing.
So with the midwife, no doctors, nothing, no medicine.
But you're in a hospital.
So I was in the hospital
God forbid
setting,
anything goes wrong, you're in a hospital.
and I was so grateful that I took that route and that it waited till 42 weeks,
Because it forced
the
you to
baby.
be in the hospital.
Yeah, it forced
Which
me to
is
go there.
amazing.
So I'm super grateful for that. They had to give me like something, I don't know, a little like pill to,
Oh, you were
to
not in
start the
labor.
contractions. I wasn't
Yeah.
in labor still.
They had
So
to soften your cervix and then give you Pitocin.
no Pitocin. I didn't get any medicine.
So they just soften your cervix.
They opened my cervix a little bit. I went to the bathroom. I had to pee and my water broke. And then it all happened so fast. Literally from start to finish, I was in labor for 2 hours.
Crazy.
The baby was out. So it was like 3 pushes. Those contractions were so painful.
You didn't take any epidural.
My doula did not make it in time to my birth.
What?
So my mother was my doula at the end. She
But
came.
you know what?
She
That's
came
the
once the
best.
baby was out. The doula was there, and I was like, "Thanks, Sharon, for not being here." But my mom turned into a doula that day, and she like talks about it till this day. She says, "You know, my favorite experience with you is delivering Noah." She's
That's
like,
the
"I liked
best.
it more than delivering your second, Leia, because everyone was in the hospital room. Nuriel was there, my sister, my mom, and my doula. So it was just
So
madness.
it was just you and your mom, which you guys got that.
Pretty much, yeah.
And was it COVID at the time?
So it was right after COVID.
And
So
you
they
were
weren't
only
doing the
allowed
birth pools in the hospital at
one or
that
two
time.
people?
You were only allowed one person, but we finagled and we were like, everyone just like sneak in, and
yeah.
they were all in the room, you know, heard me go through it all, everything, every breath, every scream. I'm so happy that I did it that way because
I'm proud of you.
then I got pregnant with Leia.
Yeah.
My kids are like a year and a half apart.
You had them really close.
Yeah, Leia's now, Noah turned 2 last weekend on December 10th, 2023. And Leia is 5 months, turning 6 months soon. On the 29th, June 29th, she was born. So that was my 2.5 hour labor with Noah. And now with Leia, I did the same thing. But she was 40 weeks and 1 day.
The same thing, meaning you had a doula this time again?
I had the same doula. She was there for the whole thing. And this experience was amazing. Like, literally, God bless her for being there.
And you took no epidural and you had a natural birth.
Yep. And it was just a few pushes. She came right out. My water broke at home after acupuncture. And I did acupuncture and like a massage to induce labor. That night, my water broke at home
Wow.
when I was getting into the shower. And it's such like a weird like thing. No one tells you like when your water breaks what it feels like. So I'll touch on that.
How did it happen? You
Warm
squat-
water like trickling kind of. And I was like, did I just like pee myself? Because you're pregnant. You don't know like what's going on, whatever.
You can't even see your feet.
Yeah, you don't even know. It's like, what just happened? Did I just pee myself? Is like that happening to me today?
Am I that mom?
Yeah, I'm like, so that was my water breaking. I'm like, okay, guys, I think my water just broke. I texted my doula or I called her, I don't know. And I'm like, Sharon, I think my water broke. She's like, okay, like calm down. Don't rush. Your bag's packed, right? Take a shower, go to your favorite restaurant, get some food. She's like,
What?
Yeah, she was like, take your time. You don't need to like rush to the hospital.
Did you feel contractions yet after your water broke?
Not yet, until like I arrived at the hospital. I started feeling them and we were like in a waiting room. And then I'm like, guys, the baby's coming. I got to get in this room. They put me in a waiting room. We're all like sitting in there. Do you guys care that I'm about to give birth right here on the floor? Literally. My doula set up the whole room. We had like, you know, all the like incense and candles and all of that stuff. It was a vibe. My second pregnancy, literally like she came like right when I needed her to. I felt her coming and it was such a good experience. Like I really breathed through every contraction. They were like painful, but there were only so many that I can remember. And I would do it over and over again. So that's my holistic experience on my
Good for you.
labors.
Because for me, honestly, hats off to you because I had such a traumatizing experience my first time with Rafael. I ended up getting induced. And when you get induced, the contractions are severe. Like they put you on Pitocin and my contractions were topping off the climax of, you know, how they monitor your contractions.
Oh, yeah.
Mine
You can
were
watch
going
them.
off the chart. Like literally, the woman was like, I've never seen this. How much pain are you in? And I was like, honestly, a lot of pain. And the anesthesiologist just came in and was like, hey, do you want epidural? And me, out of curiosity, I'm like, you know what? I want to see what these contractions are going to feel like. I don't need it. And my mom's going, you're not a superwoman. Take the epidural.
Oh
They asked you, you better take it. And I'm like, honestly, like, I'm curious. Like, I want to see what everyone's talking about. I want to feel this pain that everyone says.
I wish I was there. I'd be like, you can do this, Sylvie. Let's push this baby out. Get on your side. And
So finally I said no originally to the anesthesiologist. I'm like,
Biggest
"No,
mistake
don't
ever."
worry. The entire hospital filled in within like 5-6 hours of women in labor. There were women in labor in the waiting room because the rooms were already full. And at that point, there were 10 people on the anesthesiologist waiting list for him to walk around to do epidurals. And the pain started kicking in. And I'm going, okay, can you ask them for the epidural now? And they're like, yeah, but there's a waiting list. Can you think you can wait 2 hours? I'm like, no. So I started waiting the 2 hours. I didn't have a choice at that point. And an hour into it, it was so painful for me that I screamed and I said, I'm going home. I'm not having this baby. I need to get out of here. I almost unplugged myself. My mom was laughing at me. She's like, where do you think you're going? You're obviously giving birth to this child. I wanted to check out. I was like, this is not happening.
The
I'm
pain
like,
is just-
the amount of pain that I felt was unbearable.
that's
for
why
me.
you needed a doula to tell you that you can do this.
Yeah, no, I had no. I had it was just for me, it was so painful that thank God the second they gave me the epidural, I was like laughing and like
Yeah,
I was
happy. You're like,
happy.
okay.
I could smile for pictures, I could breathe again. I couldn't even feel the contractions. It was fabulous. But
I just think that like the preparation, like when you're about to go into labor, you need to like talk to someone that
Yeah.
knows from experience, not someone who had a horrible birth story, because I don't want to hear those stories.
yeah.
It's all like mental to me.
For
and like
sure
it always
mental.
it has been. So when I was prepared months in advance, like, you know, everyone that was in my care when my doula told me like gave birth and it was fine and they did it.
God, yeah.
Like and everything was fine, then I was like, okay, everyone did this. I can do this, you know?
100%. But you mentally prepared for that. I was not.
Right.
I was not.
You didn't know what to
mentally-
expect.
Not
So
e-
that's why
yeah.
no one talks about so many little details. And I think that's why this is so nice and important
Yeah.
to share with everyone.
Definitely so important. And I wanted to ask you, how was your breastfeeding experience with your first and your second, and how is that still going?
So that's another thing that I learned a lot about before in advance. And my doula, you know, prepared me like major with that. So like the positions and things that people just don't
There are
know
positions,
about.
you're right.
The football position where the
Yeah.
baby's head is here.
Uh-huh.
That's your first breastfeeding position.
Everyone only thinks there's like
You don't hold the baby
throttling.
like that. Everyone thinks,
There's only one.
there's only one way of everything, but it's just not true. So thankfully I like learned about that and she was there. He first latched and my breastfeeding experience has been really good. So Noah just turned 2, I said, and I just stopped breastfeeding him. While I had my second, I loved breastfeeding. You just have to like stick it through.
2 years.
I stopped him
Honestly,
at
hats off
right
to
before
you.
2 years. And Leia, she's breastfeeding solely. She's almost 6 months. I loved it. I think it's easier. I know people tell you like it's hard. Pumping is annoying, I'll be honest, because like you're full of milk all down your shirt.
Yeah.
You're leaking, you know, you have so much milk. Your body doesn't regulate that milk. And that's something that all like happens. You just have to keep going. So I'm fully breastfeeding Leia and she loves it. She doesn't want any bottles. But the nanny, like, you know, I try to incorporate that because I pump and I
For your own
I have
sanity.
to
Yeah, if you
work
need to
and do
leave.
so many other things. I have a life too, other than being a mom. My kids are obviously my everything and my all day and my 24/7. It doesn't end, but it's the best gift. I wouldn't do it any other way. Like I could have like so many babies.
Amen.
I just wish I had room for them all.
One day. I love that. And so you ended up breastfeeding both kids simultaneously.
They call it
I'm not sure what they call it, but how,
tandem feeding. So it's when you're breastfeeding 2 kids.
because you did have them so close.
Yeah.
But how were you breastfeeding while you were pregnant?
I just kept making milk. I never like stopped breastfeeding, so I don't know. I just like you have to eat and like you can't like lose all your weight. Even though I lost like all my weight from Noah, after 9 months I started losing weight. I was breastfeeding, but you have to eat so much protein, cottage cheese, dairy, grass-fed beef,
Yeah.
good meats, you know,
Iron,
healthy,
yeah.
a lot of like fatty foods, avocado, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I love that. So
Yeah.
I got to eat my heart out and it was great. I never like watched my weight, thankfully, but it all comes off, like I promise. Breastfeed, try to give it a few months. Like I recommend 3 months to start.
Me too. Yeah.
And then like if you're done, you're done. You know, it depends on your lifestyle. I'm a Cancer. I wore my
I love it.
my astrology outfit today. Yeah, I loved breastfeeding. It's all about trying to stick to it.
Yeah.
Everyone can do it. I mean, you do have to eat good foods and you have to have a good healthy diet. So that's like key. When you don't make milk, don't worry, you will make milk. You have to be super hydrated. Coconut water is like my best friend.
Yeah, you have to drink. The second you start breastfeeding, you're like parched.
If I get like stressed or anything, I'm like, you don't produce so much milk.
Yeah.
So you have to like just have a good meal, calm down, breathe, go to yoga, Pilates, whatever you got to do. Also, yoga and Pilates, I have to talk about that.
What about
because my pregnancy, I gained like 33 pounds with Noah, my first, and I went to Pilates and yoga every single day. And I feel like Pilates helped me so much getting that baby out. Like
For sure.
And they don't tell you about when you do the epidural, they lay you like on your back and it's hard to like push the baby out like that. So I love that I could move because when you have an epidural, you can't walk.
No,
so you're stuck in a
you're
position.
basically paralyzed.
You can't
from
eat.
waist down. Oh yeah, they tell you,
You
to
can't
stop
eat.
eating.
You can't.
No, it's not the epidural. They tell you don't eat because God forbid if you need a C-section and they need to put you under anesthesia,
Right, yeah.
it's very dangerous and you could throw up and things like that.
You
So
can't
they
eat before
wanna-
anesthesia. That's
yeah,
why.
so
But
they want you to avoid that.
I like went to dinner with my mom before we went to the hospital. It was
Yeah.
like whatever. So I took like a truffle pizza to go from MC Kitchen. I'll
Love
never
that.
forget that last meal with my mom. I'm like, let's just take a pizza, like just in case I'm in labor forever. Who knows?
Yeah.
And I ate that pizza like probably 30 minutes before I gave birth. I ate like 3 pieces of pizza. I was walking around. I was in the shower the whole time with hot water running on my back through every contraction over like a ball
Wow, in the hospital.
in the hospital. I was like,
Wow.
when I walked in, I'm like, I hate hospitals.
Okay.
I cannot stand hospitals. So I was like, I'm not going to a hospital. And we had to go. So I'm like, I looked at the bathroom. I was like, ew, disgusting. I'm not even peeing in there. Fuck that. Literally. And I was on the floor after that first contraction. I'm like on the floor in the shower at the hospital. Like, I'm like, Mom, can you put something down? Like, yeah, right.
Oh my God. Yeah, now you remind me. No one tells you bring slides, like Adidas slides
Yes,
or
I had, like,
flip-flops
rubber
or
sandals
Havaianas or
on.
something you need for the shower for all
No,
hospital
you need to be
showers.
glamorous. Bring your Chanel freaking slide.
Okay, but whatever. Some
I'm
rubber,
joking.
yeah, something rubber that
can get wet, yeah.
because you're not gonna want to put your feet on that shower.
I got like a fresh blow dry. I was like wet rat. Like I was soaking wet. I was like under the hottest water
Oh my God.
ever running. My mom's like, you wouldn't get out of the shower. And I'm like, no. The contraction, like, no, don't come.
So
they were
hurting.
intense.
They
yeah.
were hurting, but you mentally prepared
But
yourself
like you
for that.
feel when that baby's coming. I love that also about like the whole natural thing. Like you feel your body and you know when the baby's coming. You can control that through your breath and all of that good stuff. The doula massages you and presses on your back. It's like the best release ever because that means the baby's like coming down. Lay sideways, put your leg up and just like push when I tell you. Push, you know, not from back there behind.
Yeah.
So like push from the front and you have to like take a deep breath and you just keep pushing that baby out. But like 3 breaths, the baby was out.
I wanted to touch base on how I don't know if it's a myth per se because it happened to me as well. Maybe it's just BS. They say keep breastfeeding. It's a form of not getting pregnant. They say keep breastfeeding and it's like birth control. But you got
Had
pregnant
my
while you were
baby, a second
breastfeeding.
one.
And me too. That's actually how I found out I was pregnant
All the myths,
with my third.
all the things people tell you, it's like always false in my life.
At least from my experience
Yeah.
as well.
So I'm like, all right, I don't listen to anyone. Like, let me just like do
Yeah.
this and figure it out myself.
Yeah, because for me, with my second, I was breastfeeding her, and I already knew that I could breastfeed because I breastfed my son for 6 months. So I was breastfeeding her as 3 months. The milk wasn't having that thick layer anymore. It was getting watered down. I was eating. She was so famished and thirsty every time I fed her. She was still hungry. My mom's like, she's hungry. I'm like, I just breastfed her for an hour.
When
and a
people tell me
half.
my kids are hungry, I'm like,
No, but wait,
Don't
she
tell me
was
that.
hungry because my body stopped producing
Making that
breast
thick-
milk
yeah.
because I was already pregnant. So I ended up stopping to breastfeed my second child around 3 months But mind you, when she was 5 months, I found out I was already 10 weeks pregnant.
Oh my
So it clicked that I was like, oh shit, my body was trying to tell me something. My body didn't want to focus on
It wasn't
two things.
filling her up for a reason.
Yeah, my body was like, you're already pregnant. We're going to focus on that. We're going to stop the milk and kind of give you a sign. But I really didn't realize. My sister actually, it was funny. When you're pregnant, when you give birth, they give you like a no progesterone or only progesterone type of birth control, I say, with no hormones if you want birth control. And I was on that. And then when you stop breastfeeding, they ask you to call a doctor and you get a real prescription for birth control. So I was gonna go on the real birth control and I call my sister and I'm like, oh, like something with our insurance, like I'm going to pick up my birth control. She's going, you didn't get your period yet. And I go, what do you mean? And when you're done, first of all, you don't get your period while you're breastfeeding.
I haven't got it. Leia's almost 6 months.
Exactly. So they don't tell you that.
I haven't had it in like 2.5 years. It's great.
That's the craziest thing ever. Yeah. So you don't get your period while you're breastfeeding, which is nuts, bonkers to me.
Like breastfeed and get pregnant. You
Yeah.
don't have your period. Perfect.
It's like honestly the craziest thing. So I'm thinking, okay, it could take like 6 weeks to regulate. Like it's been already like almost 2 months since I've breastfed. Like it's coming. Like it has to, like, of course I'm gonna get my period, right? My sister's like, no, you're pregnant. I'm like, Melissa, you're crazy. There's no way I'm pregnant. She's like, you need to go take a test. You can't take birth control. It's gonna kill your baby. I'm like, Melissa, you're nuts. I'm like, I'm not pregnant. She goes, Sylvie, I have a feeling you're pregnant. Just to shut her up, I went to the dollar store and I bought like literally like cheap ass, you can buy a pregnancy test at the dollar store.
Only
fun
Sylvie
fact.
would know that.
And I went and bought a pregnancy test at the dollar store. I thought it was broken because the pregnancy line came up positive before the negative line. You're supposed to wait 3 minutes. It didn't wait. I was so pregnant that the test was like, pregnant. I peed on two of them and I was
crazy.
like, this is BS. I went to CVS.
I don't believe you.
I swear to God, I went to CVS. I bought the yes and no ones and they both said yes. And I was like, holy shit, I'm fucking pregnant. I called my sister.
Was that with Nina or?
With Nina, with the last. I called my sister and I'm like, you psycho witch. How did you know I was pregnant?
She knew. She felt it.
She like felt it.
Sisters know.
And I'm like, she's like, I knew it. I'm like, you're crazy. I went to my doctor and she's like, I just delivered you. I'm like, I know. She's like, how the fuck are you
I'm
pregnant?
back again. I'm fertile as fuck.
She's like, you're fertile Myrtle. I'm like, yes, I am, I guess.
Well, lucky you.
She was so confused. They had no idea how far along I was. My levels were super high in my blood. She's like, we have to do an ultrasound. So they did an ultrasound and I was already 10 weeks pregnant.
That's crazy.
And they had to predict my due date based
love
on that. But they weren't able to predict a proper due date because I gave birth
didn't have a
at
period.
37
Yeah.
weeks.
That's crazy.
So it was this whole, like, I guess, myth of keep breastfeeding, you're not gonna get pregnant. Then I got pregnant. I didn't even know how far along I was. It was just, and my girls are literally 13 months apart to the day. So I almost had Irish
Wild.
twins, basically. Yeah. So I don't know. I just wanted to shed light on that experience.
yeah,
and-
you like don't get your period. You're like, when is it coming? You're like, I'm breastfeeding. How am I gonna lose weight? All these things that people just don't talk about. And it's like, why did no one tell me that? Like my sister-in-laws, they have like 800 kids. Do you guys want to like tell me what I'm gonna like go through? Like, no, I'll just figure it out myself. Don't worry. So I'm so happy that the listeners can, keep listening for this good
Definitely.
info. It's important.
It's very important. And not even that it's important. I wanted to just shed light on it because we all go through it. We all came through mothers. Every single person in this world has a mom.
Our moms didn't even tell us though.
Exactly. And
Like,
I looked
what?
at my mom and I was like, how could you forget this? You did this 4 times. I'm like, what? Like, but what and how and why? When I had Rafael, I wanted to make this podcast. And it's funny because he's 5 now and here we are making it. And
crazy.
I told myself, I'm like, I need to shed light on all of these experiences because we all go through them. And for me, I didn't feel confident enough or I didn't feel qualified enough because I only had 1 kid. So my experience
Yeah,
was
you don't want to
very
like give people, you're like,
false hope. Yeah. So now that I have 3, I have 3 completely different experiences. All my kids are amazing, but the birthing experience and the pregnancy experience was all so different. I just wanted to share on how different they were because you don't you don't learn unless people kind of share their real experiences. It's
That's
really
true.
hard to read a book and learn from a book. It's
Yeah,
not,
you don't.
it's
you don't
not
need
it's
that.
not tangible.
You want to hear about experiences?
Yeah. And then I wanted to ask you, what are your favorite items that you use on a daily basis with your
So
with your
funny you
babies?
ask this. So like I'm super OCD if you know me. You know I'm like crazy clean freak. If something gets a stain on it, it's gone. It's going to donations. But I had a huge baby shower with Noah
Okay.
and literally over 100 people came. I put like all these like perfect little aesthetic, like white, nude, cream, you know, that whole vibe on my baby list registry.
Okay.
And I got over 120 gifts,
Insane.
which we ended up buying a storage unit to store those gifts.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm selling it
Because
slowly,
we recommend
slowly,
not
'cause I don't-
opening it until you even
But I've
need
tried it all.
Okay.
And like I see like, you know, you want everything when you have a first time baby. You're so excited. You want like the most perfect things to match your house and like everything just flow.
So you wanted like nice neutral things.
Yeah, and I was having a
because-
boy and I'm like, I'm not buying blue and yellow. Like, no.
'Cause they
it's not
do.
happening.
They have, like, those
I don't want
harsh
colorful.
colors.
Do not buy that for me. Thank you. So
Okay.
I'm like, I'm making this list so people know because God knows what the hell people buy you. It's scary.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I tried everything out. We had like 3 bassinets in our house. Like, we had so many things. It was crazy. It was becoming like a freaking store. I really tested out like the different bassinets. I had the one from Amazon that goes onto the bed, so you don't have to get out of bed and put the baby into the crib or the bassinet, you know, at night. You don't have to get up.
Did you like that one?
So I loved that.
Okay.
But I also had the Monte.
Me too, the Monty. It's my
Beautiful
favorite one.
rose gold, and it
Uh-huh.
was creamy white.
And it has a rocker on the
You
bottom.
could just like kind of like rock it. The baby goes right back to sleep.
I
But
love
it's
it.
annoying to sit up in the bed after feeding the baby when they wake up and like plop the baby down. You know, you have to really like get up and
Yeah.
put the baby down
Yeah.
carefully, you know? I kind of used both of those. I got the one that attached to my bed like after some time I started using it. My sister-in-law bought it for me. I'm like, she's a pro. She had 4 kids. Why am I not using this thing? It's not the prettiest, but it's
That's
fine.
why, honestly.
Yeah.
They're not, they look
They're
like
not so pretty, but it
hospital
was like
beds.
nude and like cream, whatever. It was fine, but it's like a net. You unzip it. The baby's literally in your bed, but in its own bassinet attached to your bed.
Did you unzip it and rezip it every time, or you just like left it open?
So I kind of like zipped it up because I was scared the baby could like fall, like roll out, you know. But the babies don't move
Babies don't
till they're
move
like
until
4 or 5 months.
Literally.
Now Leia's doing like flips on the floor. I'm like, you little roly poly. She's so chubby.
I
I love it. So that I used. And then I had like, you know, the wicker basket one that I know Sylvie and I like both
have the
have with the
Moses
stand.
basket.
It goes out in like the living room area because it's
Exactly.
aesthetically pleasing. So like she would nap in that, so would Noah, whatever. I used the same thing for both my kids.
Me too.
Because I finally schlepped out the stuff that I didn't use. I love that. And no one tells you this. The Freedom Mom kit after labor, you need that. Like that's like God sent.
They didn't have that my first pregnancy, but I bought it the second.
It's a
and third
huge
time around.
box.
Yeah.
It's like $150. It has like the ice pack pads that feels so good after you give birth.
You will need that.
Yes, nipple cream. You know, those disposable underwear that like I still want to wear. Is that weird? Because I'm obsessed with
They're
them.
so
They're the most
comfortable.
comfortable things. I kind of like the hospital ones better.
They're
just
very
mesh
comfy, yeah.
underwear. You put like a little pad, and what else do they not tell you?
They give
the
you tucks.
spray tucks you can put in there. It feels amazing.
Yeah. Because you feel like a train hit you. Like,
Yeah,
after
you feel like
give
it's
birth,
burning sensation down there.
Yeah.
So you just like don't really look. You clean it, pat it dry, you know, put the cream on the pad. The ice pack is like, wow. I had to buy so many
That's
because I was
amazing.
obsessed with them. So all of those things were on my register. I used that. And then bassinet, what else?
Like, what's your favorite car
The
seat?
nose sucker
Oh, that
from
nose
Freedom
Frida.
Mom. That is the best. You get saline spray and you can like clean your baby's nose out. It's like a little silicone like sucker. It has a light on it to distract them. I love that. We use it till today. A nail file that's like electric. We use that every day, every week. Baby's nails grow at like a weird fast pace. It's kind of strange.
You want the ones like when you give birth, you want all the stuff to have gloves that are kind of built into the clothes.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
for me,
the onesies, forget it. I've
Yeah.
tried every brand.
but it's traumatizing because my husband's uncle is a pediatrician and he brought so much light to the mittens that don't actually have Velcro. Babies choke on them and he's had traumatizing experiences, God forbid. So he recommended that there are pajamas that have the thing that flip over because the babies will scratch the crap out of their face.
Their nails grow so fast, it's scary.
And even if you cut them, they'll find a way to scratch themselves.
yeah, they just scratch through their face, or they can scratch their eye, God forbid.
Hands
File
covered.
is amazing if you want to like upkeep your baby all freaking day.
Yeah, literally.
But every like onesie brand I've tried, I
What are
love
your favorite brands?
Guanamama, whatever.
Yeah,
I
those
love
are
that. You want to cover their feet and their hands and have like the option to take it out. So I love that brand. It's super nice. You know, all that.
I love Kite Baby.
I like cotton, 100% cotton.
Okay.
And like Amazon has a lot of the good brands if you need something like quick because they grow so fast. You're constantly ordering pajamas.
You're going through like 8 different wardrobes in just the first year.
Just make sure you have like the comfy clothes. You don't need a cute outfit till your baby's walking, okay?
Yeah.
If anyone to speak, like I want to dress my babies like to the nines and put them in the knit little everything. Like,
You're
but
not
like
gonna put jeans on your 2-month-old
they need to be
child.
comfortable.
Yeah,
Like
that's
don't
not
do
fair.
that, please. Like that's just weird. Like please don't do that to your child. It's scary.
You're gonna get a rash and it's not fair.
You have your whole life to dress them up. So put them in those comfy pajamas that are convertible. They're called convertible pajamas.
Yeah. they're the
We'll
best.
link all the great things. I can
love
put my baby list.
Yeah, and Solly Baby, I really love that.
Solly Baby's great.
Solly Baby, I really loved for the hospital because they come in 2-piece and the baby has an umbilical cord. No one tells you that you don't want to put a onesie that has the buttons at the bottom right out of the hospital because you're gonna pull on the umbilical cord
No.
and it looks a bit painful. It might be painful, it might not be, but it stains the crap out of everything. So if you have something that's like a 2-piece pajama, I found that so much easier to be able to lift and clean it instead of having to like take off the diaper and
So that's why I
open
love
the baby,
Guanamama. They're zippable like through the legs.
I love
so you just
that.
kind of like,
pull up and go.
yeah, it's great, but it has to go over their head. It's kind of annoying, but it's fine. Because
Yeah.
it's the unzip there. You just
And
take
then-
their legs right out. Like those zipper ones, like they're always like stuck in my baby's, like they're like this.
The zippers are
And
never
like
long
she's
enough
like
until-
choking on it, and
until
I'm
the
like,
baby
oh my
can
god,
actually-
poor thing. Yeah, until they can move their neck because
Yeah.
their neck is like this. Another thing, clean
Ah,
your
you-
baby's
you-
neck.
you
took the words out of your mouth.
Oh
my cousin just had a baby in Mexico. He's like, Monica, Sophia keeps getting this rash. It's so
Nina
bad. I'm like,
too.
well, can you clean your baby then?
No, you don't understand. So Nina, she was so chunky
Yeah,
and
forget
Aaliyah
the rules.
that like literally she didn't have a neck until she was probably 5 months because like babies don't have necks until they grow.
Yeah.
And the amount of like
Curdled
crust
milk.
and milk and just sweat because we live in
Every time
Florida.
after your baby eats,
She got a yeast infection. I had to get antibiotics and put it because,
See?
and I had to literally let her sleep and pull the skin. I didn't know. No one tells you like.
My tia
make
called me
sure
the other
you
day.
clean your neck.
she's like, Sophia has this horrible rash on her neck. I'm like, it's because when she eats, they don't swallow properly, and the milk
they
drips.
just- yeah.
Even when they
And
breastfeed,
even if they're wearing a bib.
it gets into their neck, and you have to put your baby on their tummy, let them hold their neck up, and you have to clean them with soap and water, dry it perfectly, and then I apply. I have Bayo
Ointments,
or
yeah.
like some ointment, whatever, Aquaphor. People don't like petroleum jelly, but do as you please. Earth Mama is an amazing brand. I use the diaper cream and Bayo, whatever.
I don't know how to
I love their baby cream. They have like rash cream. They have like everything. So super natural and like amazing. Smells so good. I always also have the spatula because I just had a
Yeah.
girl and I didn't know I don't know how to clean
get
you.
in
There's
there
so
or
many
not?
like
Yeah.
things. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna clean her good.
That's the
inside.
baby bum, right?
Yeah.
It's the baby bum little stick. You can buy it at
I use like a
Target
mushy, that brand mushy. I love it. It's
Oh, they
everything
made it
silicone.
now?
They have
It
a
is
spatula.
silicone, yeah.
I clean it after every use.
for
and
diaper rash
you
cream,
put the
yeah.
cream on like that so you don't have if your hands aren't clean.
Yeah, you're out and about. They even have a mini one that comes in a container and you can put in your diaper bag.
Those are great. Like the Motzet's pacifier holders, like the
need
little
that.
mushy silicone ones.
Yes.
Everyone's like, what is this cute little like thing on your stroller? And I'm like,
holder.
it's for my pacifier. They're like, see, they make everything today. I'm like, oh, they do. We have it all. Don't worry. We're cluttered with things.
Yeah, that pacifier holder is the best because I would literally just leave like 2 or 3 and
Yeah,
in
you
your
always have it. You don't
stroller
forget. Because
or
if you don't have that, your life is a living hell in the car sometimes.
literally.
I hate when people tell me, like, don't give your baby a pacifier. Like, sorry, but both my kids use them and, like, it shuts them up. And you need that peace in your life sometimes.
The car rides are
to put your
hell.
music on. There's a song I just found out about, the Happy song.
Which happy
It's
song?
scientifically made to stop your baby crying in the car.
Stop.
Every time I put it on, my babies are really chill. They cry, whatever.
Yeah.
They're friggin' humans. But I put it on and instant silence. It's the best thing ever. So great.
Aaliyah was super colicky. We didn't even realize that she needed a special formula because when I stopped breastfeeding, she just would cry and we switched her formula probably like 5 or 6 times. And my sister was so fed up of her crying, she YouTubed make baby stop crying. And we really sit her on her bed, and it was a black screen with these white circles and red circles, and they would go
K-Bear
around.
or what was it?
No, you can literally YouTube it. It's Make Baby Stop Crying.
Oh, wow.
And it's just classical music, and it's like stimulating for them because babies can't see until they're about 40 days old. They just see shadows. So baby's vision starts coming in slowly. So at first they're able to see near, and then they kind of differentiate details, and then they can see far. There's actually an app called Wonder Weeks, and that app really helps you understand the milestones that your baby is going through. And
You do all that stuff on the first baby. After that, you're like, all right. I got
then
this.
you get over it. Yeah, but it really helped you understand, or it helped me at least understand, wow, my baby can't see yet, or whoa, like, why are they anxious this week? Or, oh, they're going through a development. Oh, they're learning to touch their hands.
I
Or,
love it.
Like,
When
I
they-
remember like feeding Raph, and all of a sudden he discovered his hands, and he was going like
He's
this.
like-
And he was like, holy shit, I have hands. Like, at first, babies are realizing their own body in such a natural, innocent way. It's like the cutest thing ever. They don't realize they have hand-eye coordination until a few months into it.
Leia just last week saw what her feet and toes were. So she grabs them and she like rocks and she puts them in her mouth. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you have feet, baby girl. You're going to walk one day
It's
very
the
soon.
best. It really is.
Yeah.
It's the best to
so fun.
watch life through their eyes. It really
I love
is.
it. Being a mom is the best thing that's ever
It's
happened
a-
to me personally. Like,
It's a
my
gift.
babies, like people are like, how are your babies so like calm and chill? I swear it comes from the mother. Like your
100%.
pregnancy, be chill. Like you don't need to like worry so much. Like why are you stressing about something that hasn't even happened? Just like let it happen and be calm, and your baby comes out calm. Like thank God my kids weren't colicky. I didn't like have to try formulas and things. Thank God I made breast milk, but
Yeah.
everyone doesn't, so that's fine. That's okay. Try to give them like goat's milk or like cow's milk, and look for those like natural brands. They have so many
love
bad oils, and even the European formulas, I know that they say they have to like have a oil, but like, grapeseed oil, like rapeseed oil, like everything that's in oat milk and almond milk that you think you're eating like healthier, like drink whole
Sunflower
milk,
oil,
okay?
yeah.
Drink whole milk, it's better for you. Grass-fed one,
Yeah.
and give your babies those European formulas. Check the ingredients. Don't follow what everyone else does. Like goat milk and cow milk, they're good. They sleep. I've slept all night pretty much, except for breastfeeding them when they were little. And you just have to keep calm and try different things. But like when doctors start telling you, God forbid, I don't know, allergic or whatever, don't give them that. That's when they start building their allergies. They literally tell you the opposite of what to do. I hope everyone hears this. Don't just take advice from a doctor, because a lot of the time they're wrong and they give you prescriptions to mask things, and it makes it so much worse. Read about like natural remedies.
Even our pediatrician, he recommended in the beginning, in his old ways of practicing, it was don't give babies or children or toddlers nuts until age of 3.
That's crazy.
And that was the old way of learning, because they were very scared to build a nut allergy. And America was one of the highest nut allergy places in the world, because they were avoiding until 3. And now new studies found, because in Israel they have bamba, and bamba has peanut butter in it, and they're giving
best thing to
babies
give to your
as
baby.
young as 3-4 months bamba, and there is close to no peanut allergies there. That now
That's what I'm saying.
he's
Doctors tell
telling
you,
us,
like, do
but
those
now
things,
he's
but
telling us
yeah.
at 3 months
give them bamba.
give them bamba or put peanut butter on their tongue and oatmeal or something.
Yeah.
And get them acclimated
You have to introduce everything
to these things. And also when you start feeding a baby purees and foods, I guess I always went
Make your own.
I always made my own, and I always went ABC. So I always did like apple or avocado, banana and like carrot. Like that's kind
I
of
love that.
how
I'm
would
in that
feed
realm
my babies
right now.
And they always say, make sure you feed that one type of food so you don't find out allergies, God forbid, for at least 2 to 3 days. So it would say, let's say you're feeding apples. So 2 days in a row, apples. Now you want to do banana. You can do the banana with the apple because you know the apple is already safe, but you can do the banana by itself. But make sure you're doing 2 days,
2 to 3 days
of the banana first.
You introduce the foods 2 to 3 days at a time, and then you can keep cycling like different
the
things.
ones you already used, exactly. But no one tells you. Everyone's like, oh, but what is this? Like how you can buy the packs at Target and
do not buy those packs.
No, but they say stage
later
one,
you
stage
can.
two,
They're
stage
easy,
three, but it's like, what are these stages? And it's
Right.
because this one has sweet potato, carrots,
Too
and
many
apple in it.
things
You can't give that to your newborn.
Introduce it. See what they're good with.
But there's 3 things in
gas.
there. How do you know if it's
Which
the
one it
apples
is?
or if it's the potatoes or if it's the whatever
Potatoes
else
are
was
so
in there.
starchy and like I don't know, those packets, they're good for like older kids. You could whatever, but just check the ingredients, like I said.
But also
and like
be
buy 1 or
careful.
2 ingredients
They're
in a package.
The packages that don't have clear
I
plastic
heard that
in them,
they have mold inside of them.
I've watched way too many videos of people cutting them
Disgusting.
open
They're
and seeing.
me too. I just saw that the other day.
I wanted to vomit. Yeah, it was not fun.
So we were in Europe like last month visiting my sister.
How is traveling with a baby? What do you pack?
Oh, what do I pack? I pack a carry-on, like rolling. I put it up, and I have a baby bag, and then I have the Duna when I travel only.
Okay.
And my son's Nuna, like I just fold it. It's a travel Nuna, and yeah, you pack as minimal as you can. The baby slept the entire flight, and they watched movies. Noah watched movies. Traveling with them was great. With my 2 experiences, I brought Noah by myself to Paris when he was like 5 months old. On a family vacation, and I brought just my Duna and like just his diaper bag, pajamas, diapers, stuff like that. And
Overpacked diapers. I've had an experience when I went to Europe that I
they have the
wasn't
worst
able-
diapers there. They're like cardboard.
Not even the worst. I wasn't able to find the size.
Oh, that's good.
I got so screwed. I was literally in
no.
Europe for almost a month with my
That's
daughter,
terrible.
and she's like the biggest size. But I guess in Europe they potty train their kids young, so I couldn't find a size 6 diaper anywhere.
So just buy some cloth diapers and start cleaning the shit all day.
The poor girl was getting like
Rashes
almost
from
like
too
rashes
tight.
because
Terrible.
the diaper was so tight. I felt so bad. I had to buy her some sort of pull up, but that's lesson learned to me.
So I always pack like an
overpacked.
extra thing of diapers. That's why I bring the carry-on. But that was Noah. I brought him to Europe by myself. He slept the whole time. They gave me like a bassinet, whatever. And he slept like in the little like foothole. And
They offered you a bassinet on the plane, right?
they
You
did,
need
but
to
it
be
was
in
like kind
bulkhead,
of
right?
like you have to be in a certain seat. And if you
Exactly.
fly business, like you don't have a wall always in front of you.
They
so
put them in a little hub. I did that.
yeah,
with
so I'm like,
Noah's.
I'm not separating from my baby. Like I'm like a first time mom. I'm
No,
alone.
you
like
need to call. You need to call the airline
before
and make sure that seat. Yeah.
Right. Anyways, thank God. But on the way back, they like sold my ticket. Ended up like having to put the bassinet. I was on like the first row in premium economy, and I was like, okay, like I'm talking to someone because this is not okay. They like double sold the tickets, but then there was a seat open, so it was some miscommunication. He got to sleep like the whole time in the little foothole, and like I laid the bed down. He slept right in between my legs. My experience with newborn on the plane: just breastfeed them when you're taking off and landing because their ears
ears are gonna pop.
and that's it. And make sure they're like full.
Breastfeed or pacifier or bottle.
Make
or
sure they're
whatever.
sucking. Yeah,
They
thank
have
you.
to be sucking on something because their ears will pop. My poor son, he was 4 or 5. He
They don't know how to,
obviously
like,
he had nothing to suck
pop their
on.
ears or,
and it
like,
was the first
yawn.
time his ears started to pop, and he was
Scary.
like crying.
That's why babies cry, because people don't like let them suck when they're taking off and landing. So their ears are like, what's going on? Their head's about to
Yeah.
explode.
Aw.
And then the other day we went to Spain to see my sister. I guess I was like overwhelmed before leaving. I had 2 kids. My mom and I were flying with them alone, and like
That's
I didn't know
hard.
what to expect with a newborn and a 1.5, 2-year-old. And it was a great experience. Noah loved it. The flight attendants were in love with him, bringing him like sorbet,
How long was
fruits.
this flight?
It was 8.5 hours to Madrid. Yeah, 8 hours, something like that, from Miami to Madrid. Noah like made friends with everyone on the plane.
I
We had a
love it.
great time. Didn't cry. My kids didn't cry one time ever on a plane. Thank God.
You never want to be that mom with the kids screaming on
I
the
felt
plane.
so bad.
Everyone
looks at me like around. It's like business people are working, like, you know, and they're like, oh, fucking baby's
Yeah.
to me, like, how'd I get so lucky?
The second
Like,
you walk
don't worry,
on the
they're
plane
good.
with a kid, people look at you different.
They're like, yeah, like,
They're
why?
like, oh shit, there's a baby. Like
Yeah.
literally every single person looks at you
It's
and they
so
want to
true.
like curse you out. And I'm like, don't jinx me.
Yeah.
We want to have a good flight.
You're overwhelmed
just
already
as much
enough.
as you do.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
Please don't jinx this.
It's so funny. Like, there was like a first time mom sitting next to my sister-in-law, Elle, and she's like, I have like 7 brothers and sisters. Like, can I please take your baby? I promise. Like, she started rocking.
The
She
baby
put the
was
baby
crying.
right to sleep.
I love it. That's so. Like,
She
my
tells me
mom
that
did
story. I'm like,
once
that's
on the
amazing.
plane.
She's like, give me your baby.
Give me the baby. You
I'll
put
shut it up.
on-
Watch. Yeah.
That literally happened.
So
we were
funny.
We were on a flight and the baby wouldn't stop crying. The
Oh,
mom,
it's the
the
worst.
dad, they were. And my mom at one point goes, give me the baby. The girl goes, really? She goes, give me the baby. Don't worry.
She's
I'll
like,
make
thank
her go to
God.
sleep."
Yeah, they're like, take my fucking baby at that point. They're like, bye.
We're on a plane. We're not going anywhere. We're all safe here. Don't worry. I'll put
Yeah.
your baby to sleep and give it back to you.
But
I love
experience
that.
traveling with them, like 10 out of 10, thank God. Even if you don't fly business, like premium economy, they can set you up if you have a okay flight attendant. Sometimes they just don't want to.
No, if you don't fly business and you fly economy, there's the bulkhead seat in the front. You know that first seat.
The bassinet goes
They're
on the
able-
wall.
exactly, the
If it clips
bassinet.
into the wall, sometimes they're both broken. So make sure you find out that
yeah.
in advance and you can complain and get a refund if you need to.
Okay, that's good to know. But yeah, normally
Crazy.
they have bulkhead and it is like a certain weight, but
Yeah, it's up to 27
something
pounds,
pounds.
something
Yeah,
like that.
but I lied about the weight of my child and I
Yeah.
just let them sleep in it anyways. I was like, don't worry, it'll be fine.
But it's great because you need to pee on the plane. You need to get up. You need to like have your hands free at some point, and like
Yeah.
you can't hold a baby the whole time.
No, it's
So
hard.
like, and you don't want to buy like an extra seat or whatever if you're sitting, you know.
But
so the bassinet's a great option. Make sure you're in the right seat for that.
I don't like wearing my baby as much, but I do know that a lot of moms like traveling
the
with,
Artie pup.
with an actual baby holder
Carrier.
because if you don't have the bulkhead seat, you don't want to be holding the baby. So it is easier sometimes to just wear the carrier. In the
I love that
seat
carrier. I
and
cook
just
with it
let them,
and I do.
let them sleep in it and
great.
call it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And
Overpack diapers and onesies and like snacks for your son.
What about blankets?
Your
We don't
kids.
even think of that. I pack consciously blankets that I know are gonna get dirty and gross on the plane because there's so
Yeah.
many germs. And then like a bunch of other blankets later because I'm not gonna let them sleep
On
in
a
there.
dirty-
yeah.
yeah.
I'm not gonna let them sleep when we get to the hotel
I
or wherever
bring
we're staying.
the
What
and
else?
stroller. I didn't talk about the stroller that I used, the Nuna Mix. I loved it. Had a huge bassinet. My son's super tall. Like he was long baby. He, you know, was in it till like 6 months. And then it changes to like the seat. And now I have like the Silver Cross. It's huge, bulky, but I live in a high
You have
rise.
a
So
double stroller or no?
I have a double stroller. Yeah, it's the Silver Cross Wave or
Side
something.
by side or front to back?
Front and front. And so
Why?
bassinet fits on front and then the seat fits on the bottom.
And you like that.
I love it for long walks, like in the neighborhood.
But do you
'Cause-
like that you can't see him? He's in the front.
He's chilling.
I like
He's
side by
locked
side.
in. You don't fit through doors, so
Yes, I do.
You do?
The donkey fits
Wow,
through
God
doors.
bless you.
So the donkey is actually the seats are a little bit more narrow than
Okay.
the classical like Fox from Bugaboo. So it's only 6 inches wider. It fits through every
That's great.
door. Yeah,
That's good.
It fits through all the doors. I love the side by side because it.
But then your like stroller bag doesn't fit on the handle, like
no, I put it under.
under.
Yeah,
I
the
need that
basket's
under
massive.
always. Like we're always like buying things and shopping. You know how.
But
it
you
goes.
need the stroller hooks. No one tells you.
That's true. Those
you
stroller
need
hooks are good. I
You
have
need
some
to
of
buy
those.
those stroller hooks. And even when you travel to get a travel stroller, I love the. I just got the butterfly.
Do you have a double travel stroller?
No. So
Oh, okay.
so ironically, they don't make a good one. The yo-yo makes
No, the yo-yo's trash.
yeah, the yo-yo
No.
flips. I have a yo-yo because it didn't exist the butterfly at first.
Oh my God.
But I think last year, so originally Bugaboo went and made a travel stroller because they tried to give yo-yo a run for their money and they called it the Ant. And the Ant stroller was not to par at all. It took like literally.
Sylvie's had like 15 strollers. So have I. So we know we're.
the Ant. It was like a 5-step opening process. It was like you gotta close the chair.
No,
you gotta
One
close the
button,
thing.
please.
So what happened was they ended up discontinuing the Ant and
Good.
they came out with something called the Butterfly.
Love
and
it. It
it's
changed
so
your life.
much better than the yo-yo. So we went to Europe and we had the yo-yo and we had the Butterfly. And
So
my
I'm just
husband and
really-
I were fighting each other.
You have 3 kids, so
yeah.
who's pushing all 3 strollers?
So
There's
wait,
2
so it's not
parents.
so the Butterfly has a scooter attachment.
Oh,
so I
the
had the
standing
scooter
scooter,
attachment, so
right.
my son was able to sit or stand.
Perfect. They get
And-
tired from walking.
Yeah, and I had the normal stroller, but the butterfly is great because it has a one button open and close,
Oh,
which
that's
they
great.
perfected
The
finally.
Nuna travel stroller has that too. It's right on the handle. You pull it and you press the button behind
Exactly.
it, and it folds right up, and it's so
Because when
efficient.
you're about to get on that airplane, people are looking at you and they're like, "Are you gonna close this damn
Oh,
stroller?"
also, when you get on the airplane, no one tells you to bring a zip-up travel bag, or they will destroy your stroller. Your
Or they'll lose it, God
$7,000.
forbid.
Yeah, your seven.
Be
So you put it in a
careful.
big like zip-up they have like on Amazon. I fit my Duna and my Nuna travel stroller into the same big
Wow.
bag. I tuck it under the stroller when I go on because you have to put them under the plane, both of them. So I put them in and they don't get dirty. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah, you
so
definitely
you have to
need
wait
that.
there for 5 hours to get your stroller after the plane. That's
why
great.
I like travel strollers.
But yeah, travel strollers are the best. So put them in the zipper,
Yeah,
case.
put them in a zipper case to save your stroller. But also, I've heard traumatizing stories where I had a friend who went to Israel with her 3 kids and she had a double stroller. They lost it.
How do you lose
They
that big-
literally, it never got on
That's
the plane.
wild.
They never put it on the plane.
Make sure you watch them put it under the plane
for
because I do.
me-
I'm like through the window
So
right
for
there.
me, yeah. So for me, I heard that and I was like, I will forever have a mini travel stroller because the butterfly you can literally put on the plane. First of all, I was able to push the butterfly through
Into
the
the
aisles
plane?
into the plane. That's how narrow it is.
Wow.
People were looking at me like, where did you get this?
This bitch has a stroller? Like, who
Like,
is
I was
this?
literally pushing it on the plane with my child sitting in it. We
She's
got to
super
our
mom.
seat.
I love that.
We put her in the seat. I folded the stroller in 1 second, and it was smaller than half of the carry-ons that were
That's
there. I
amazing.
just popped it on, and I opened it, put her back, got off the
So
plane,
good.
and then there were all the moms that put their stroller under
Waiting
the
there
plane.
after.
Waiting. You just got off an 8-hour flight. You're tired. You just want to keep going. You got to go through customs.
But what do you do with your little ones? Because that's for like one of the bigger kids, right? Because after like 6
Yeah,
months,
so
they don't
the
fit in the
yo-yo-
Duna. So you need a car seat when you're traveling in Europe. Like they don't let you in the Uber. They're like, sorry, you have kids. Like you need a seatbelt. Like
oh my God, no! I
seat.
rented a car and just rented a
Rented
car
the-
seat.
okay.
Yeah, so yeah, it depends
we didn't rent
on
a
where
car.
you go.
Yeah, we were like city life, like right into the city. Like you're taking Ubers everywhere, taxis,
Yeah.
whatever. And I don't even like the Duna, but it's a car seat. So like when you're traveling, it's
the
fine.
best.
Just find themselves like keeping their baby in the Duna all day, pushing them, sleeping. It's not good for the spine development. No one talks about that. It's
and it
super
flattens your head. Fun
yeah, I
fact.
don't like the Duna. I put like a pillow on the butt, big neck, like a head pillow to not flatten. So they're like that. And then I put like those sheets in
Mm-hmm.
it.
Yeah, and for me, see, speaking of flattening the head, because no one told
Talks
me
about that. You have to roll your baby on the side a lot. Don't let the back of the head get flat or you'll have a helmet child, which is fine.
but that's what I had.
It's cute.
So
Who had that? I remember.
Raphael?
Was that Raphael?
Yes, you remember? For 6 months, my son needed a helmet. So what happened was the pediatrician recommended that he only sleeps on his back. So my mom is like, that is so bizarre. The baby has to sleep on its side. I've never heard of only the back. He's gonna choke if he
Those good old doctors.
If he spits up, what happens if he chokes on the spit up? And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, but I'm gonna listen to the doctor. So for me,
Listen to your mother next time. Okay?
yeah, obviously. So for
Debbie,
me,
I got you,
yeah.
girl.
So for me, 6 months into it, my son's head was literally flat as a board, like completely flat. The baby's head. So the baby's head is not. There's a hole, and the hole only closes around a year old, and the baby's skull is in a few different pieces. So that when you're able to, it's kind of remarkable the way we're built. The way the baby comes out of the womb is the head actually collapses on itself and that it's able to fold and
The
come
cone
out
head.
of the womb and then it goes back. So if you're able to make the baby sleep on the side, you'll get a naturally rounding head that's gonna grow normal. But for me, I left him on his back 24/7, even in the DockATot on the back, even in the baby Bajorn on the back. He was always in the car seat. I would let him nap in the car seat because I was petrified to take him out and miss his nap or whatever. So I would bring the car seat into my house and let him nap in the car seat. The car seat flattened the shit out of his head. Now it's 6 months and I'm like, my son has a flat head. What do I do? The doctor's like, oh, it's okay. It's aesthetic. He can live like that. I'm like, we're going to cut his hair one day and he's going to have like some weird shaped head.
His
Mind
back
you,
will be the same as
from
his-
the top, it looked like a trapezoid. I'm
Yeah,
not even
no.
kidding you. He had two corners that were coming out and it was completely flat. I went to go see a specialist and they were like, it's $3,000 for this helmet. Insurance
To
doesn't
mold it
cover
to
it.
their head.
Insurance will only cover it if you give surgery to your child. I said, excuse me? I'm not giving surgery to my kid.
They're sick
I said,
people.
of course I'm gonna get this helmet. It needs to fix. I got it a bit too late, but I needed to keep that helmet on his head 23 hours a day. He needed to sleep in it. He needed to literally, I could never take it off because if I took it
My
off,
babies would kill me.
his head can go back.
They would.
But
was
this
he
helmet,
screaming? Like
no. So the first,
he was fine.
how
How young was he?
He was 6 months. He had it until a year.
Oh, 6 months. They can't really tell you what to do
Yeah,
yet.
no, he couldn't. But my son had the helmet, and it's funny because no one tells you. When I was pregnant, or even before I had kids, I would see kids with helmets, and I'm like, God forbid, is there something wrong with them? Like I would look at them, like
Yeah,
maybe they were, maybe there was, maybe I don't know, maybe they were a bit challenged, maybe there was something wrong with them, but no, they just had a flat head.
Yeah.
That's really the only reason they have a helmet is
You were
because
a helmet
they had
mom, so you went through it.
So when I finally got the helmet, I guess the judgmental was going on me, and I felt like people were looking at me and my baby, but I was trying to fix his head because it was severely flat.
Don't worry, you did what was
And it did fix his head, and he has a beautiful shaped head
He's
now, thank
perfect
God.
now, Raphael.
And no one rose awareness to me about this helmet. So for me, second and third time around, my girls never slept
There's
on
so
their
many
back.
things. Just don't be lazy with your children.
But
like,
I
pick
would
them
put a
up.
blanket in the front and a blanket in the back so they could sleep on the side. And now they even,
love the side.
They make something on Amazon that actually has a little stopper in the front and a little foam like triangle stopper in the back so the baby can't roll and the baby is forced to sleep on its side. So it's funny how now they have all these little things
They're
to kind
evolving.
of raise awareness. And
The DockATouch is like a flat thing. Like I didn't really use. I use the Snuggle Me Baby, but I always put it in the bassinet.
What
and put
about
a
the pillow? There's the pillow with the hole
I
in
had
it.
those pillows.
That helps you with the flat head syndrome. So I
that what it's
never
called?
knew. Yeah, that's what they call it.
Interesting.
So it's kind of crazy that no one told me. No one told me, and I was so mad at all these moms and all these people that were just like, "Oh, his head's flat." It's like you didn't tell me that his head was flat. Like even the doctor, I asked him, "Oh, his head is flat," but the doctor's been a doctor for 35 years, so he's seen the severe version. So he's like, "Oh, it's not so bad." I'm like, "Yeah, it's not so bad for you, but for me, it's bad."
My son, it's
Yeah.
flat.
So I definitely wanted to get on the helmet and take
course.
care of that situation. And yeah, I had to fix it. So I'm glad I was able to fix it.
That's
But-
like a weird thing that happens in motherhood. Like,
but if
things-
you catch it too late, you can't fix it because at a year old, that's it. The head is sealed. The head,
Scary.
Yeah, your head shape won't change.
I mean, it's all experience. You don't have to listen to me, like, and take it to heart. But my doula, my midwife, we made a birth plan. That's like the number one thing you do when you give a natural birth. And
But did it go to plan?
it did. You write it all down before, like what you want, like how you want it. Don't let them take your baby from you ever. Like, do skin to skin with your baby the first like few hours and the father.
It's very important for the baby
so
to regulate their
important.
temperature.
That's how they just like regulate and like get to know you and bond with you. The dad takes his shirt off and like bonds with the baby. It's fine if they're hairy. It doesn't bother the baby. Do not let them clean your baby. Do not let them take the vernix, the protective layer that they've been in your womb
They
with.
wait now
The
24
white
hours actually.
vernix is the best thing for your baby's skin. I promise. Don't let them wash your baby. Don't let them take your baby. Your husband can go to the scale and do all that, weighing them, whatever. That's
they
fine.
measure them.
And yeah, write it all in your birth plan. You're in charge at the hospital. The nurses cannot take your baby from you. They cannot do anything without your say.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was like things that I didn't want them to cut the umbilical cord until all the blood flowed back into my baby. That's super important if you can.
They say
to
wait
keep
a
it
few
connected
minutes, yeah.
and wait till it turns white till the blood goes back to the baby and then you can cut it. You want your baby to have a great blood flow. It's super important. The one thing I did for my son, we're Jewish, so he had a bris,
So you didn't want them to circumcise him in the hospital, which they do offer a lot.
Yeah,
of,
no, I didn't, none of that, but we did the vitamin K. It's not a vaccine. It's just to stop the bleeding in case, God forbid, they get a cut or something like that. So we did vitamin K for my son. For Leia, we did not do anything. And my kids are perfectly healthy. They have a strong immune system. I breastfeed them, of course. That makes them stronger. and try to breastfeed for 3 months.
I wanted to thank you, Monica,
you,
for
Sylvie.
coming here and sharing your experiences with all of us. And thank you to all the listeners that tuned in today. I hope to see you guys all soon. Thank
Yay,
you.
thank you for having me.
Of course.
So nice.